Hey y'all, welcome back to Smell the Roses, where we slow down, check in with ourselves, and call a thing. While you're vibing in the garden with me, please like the video, leave a rosebud emoji, or leave a comment in the comments section to share your opinion. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell for your weekly dose of growth. It's me. I'm back. Welcome back to the garden, people. Welcome back to Smell the Roses. Good evening. Tonight, I am hosting the Rose Report. If you just saw me live in another outfit, that was before I cooked dinner. This is me after dinner, okay? After dinner. All right? This if you've seen this sweatshirt before, mind your business, okay? It's clean. It feels soft and cushy. I have my hot cocoa here. I don't know if you can see it. It's like my marshmallows melted, but yeah. Okay. Welcome back to Smell the Roses. Come in and sit down. Come sit down. Today what's up, Latanya? Steven, James, CEO, it's so good to see y'all. Old school, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate you so much for your donation. Also, Frederick, thank you for gifting a Smell the Roses membership. So awesome. I really appreciate your support. It means so much to me. And Starla Chambers, 81, she became a new member while I was live streaming with Ali and the rest of the Untouchable panel. Um, I I'm glad that you all enjoyed that. Um, it's always fun to work with Ali. I know CDT had some beats. I know CDT Beats had some jokes in the comment section. Um, that was funny. You guys are funny and classy. Yes, thank you for joining the panel with me today, making me feel super comfortable. Yeah, I had lots of fun with you guys. Always learning. You know, I am a woman, so yeah, thanks for being patient with me. But today, you all, today we need to talk about, I'm going down a rabbit hole, okay? Like, I went down a rabbit hole last night, late last night, and now I like, instead of taking you on all the videos I binged last night, I'm just gonna do a couple of one video. I'm a little tired, y'all, but um oh, thank you. You said love your voice. Thank you. Yes, where's my headband? I had that thing on all day and I felt so cute. But when you're cooking, you cannot have that shit on, okay? You got to take it off. You got to like get comfortable. You got to throw down. And that thing just like, it has to sit a certain way or it'll fall off because it's so heavy. I had to take it off. But yes, donations will buy me more headbands. And I really like those. Those are kind of expensive too. Um, but don't tell my husband. Don't tell my husband. Don't tell him what the name of those headbands are, okay? And nobody look them up because I don't want to hear judgment from you all, okay? I don't want to hear no damn judgment about my headband prices, all right? It's a headband and I needed it. It made me feel good all day long, okay? But yeah, thank you all for being here with me today. Hey, Izzy. Yes, please get the likes up, everyone. He's like number 8. If you could please give me a like and possibly subscribe to my channel, that would be great. I'm on the road to 3K. I'm losing people along the way, but that's okay. Like it's fine. It's fine. Um, yeah. Red, hey, Red Cup Podcast. Hey, Micah, it's good to see you. I got a video of yours I got to catch up on. So that is on my watch later list. I don't know if do we get notifications for stuff like that? But yeah, you're in my watch later. You and some video with Dr. Umar and some other podcaster. I have to see what his crazy self is talking about. And that should go well with your video. But anyway, so I want to talk about cancel culture, okay? Because like to me, I feel like cancel culture is good. We need it. Like clearly there are things that we need to like sift out of our culture. when ugly things rear their nasty heads, we have to pluck them out or beat them down or get them out of here. Okay. And I just feel like I don't know, this whole like P Diddy thing, like it's starting to get to me. And let me tell you why it's starting to get to me. Like at first I was just like, okay, it happened, it's over, it's done. And I was good. I promise you I was good. But then I went to a lunch with people at work. And the only thing that they wanted to talk about was the Diddy documentary. Okay. It was absolutely crazy. Okay. They didn't want to talk about the Michigan man. They didn't want to talk about any of that. Well, they did touch on him a little bit, but they wanted to talk about the P Diddy documentary. And I don't even have Netflix, y'all. I have like Hulu, Amazon Prime, and like whatever comes on the TV, like whatever, like Tubi, of course I have that, and like whatever my son is, whatever those apps are that he's watching old Transformer cartoons on. Okay, so I don't have a lot of streaming services. We don't do that. Typically, we don't watch TV, but I am so intrigued about this whole freaking P Diddy thing. But it's not for the same reasons everybody else is. It's because I don't really like, what do y'all want? Are y'all team Diddy or are y'all team 50? And just saying that, is this what we've come to, where it's team Puffy or team Diddy and not right or wrong? Like, where's the accountability? Where's the justice? And if we're not doing it for like if we're not canceling people for lack of accountability or lack of justice, if we're just canceling them because you prefer one shiny rapper to the other, I am fatigued of you. I'm just fatigued of you. Like, justice is not entertainment. It's not for profit or power, is what I'm trying to say. Thank you. Thank you. So, Michelle, thank you so much. You said green headband looked great with the red lipstick. Thank you. Right. It was so festive. Yeah, I feel like very cheerful lately. Thank you, Michelle. And thank you, Red Cup Podcast, Micah. She says, keep going. You lose haters, you'll gain a tribe. Yes, I truly feel that it's okay. It's just a part of it, and I totally understand, but it's just like, okay. Bye. But yes, I love y'all. Thank you for the support. It really means a lot to me when it comes from the ladies, because the ladies are who I get the most hate from. And I don't understand it. They seem to love the message when it's a man saying it. But when it's a woman saying the same thing, they get so offended, which I just don't understand. Like, my talking points are no different than the male's talking points that are in this area of YouTube. Fatty called it out when it's just, yeah, it's annoying, but thank you so much. And hanging with Courtney, what's up, girl? She says, hey, Raquel, I caught a live. Thank you so much for being here. Oh my God. And another lady, Renee. What's up? Happy holidays. Happy holidays. Yes, haters. Thank you so much, Renee. I appreciate your donation tonight. Um, but yes, so if we're not canceling people for the right reasons, and it's just going to be for entertainment and profit and some type of like tug of war power, like, I'm not with it. I'm not with it. So I'm not team Diddy or team Puffy. Clearly, if Diddy, I don't feel like all of the things that they threw at him were things that he was guilty for. But, I wasn't there. I don't know. But like, it's over. Like, he's doing his time. He's going to pay for whatever he did, whatever they cited him for. And, so now it just seems like overkill to me. But on one hand, the little devil, the little angel is like, this is overkill, Raquel, don't fall down the rabbit hole of P. Diddy. And then I freaking fell down the rabbit hole of Diddy. I can't help it. Like, I was doing my facial routine and I was just like, let me click on this video. And then one video sent me down a rabbit hole. And now you guys have to go on this rabbit hole ride with me. But I found a video that was really well put together. That was really well put together, that won't like traumatize you too much. Let me see. Let me stop sharing and then reshare it. Hold on. Video file. Oh no, share screen. Sorry. Here we go. Yes. Let's share you. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I promise I won't hurt you all too much with what I had to experience last night. But it is just wild to me that you could, like, how I was talking about Cassie, and even the guy that's suing her said the same thing. He was just like, I really hope she pays me because I'm ready to go to trial and I have a gang of witnesses that would just love to tell their stories. So it's just like, dang, girl, like, why haven't you already cut that check? I mean, they know that you got what, 30 million or 20 million dollars. They know that you got it. So it's like, why are you letting them do this to you? Like, it's like, get ahead of your problems for once in your life. And yes, I two things can be true, G Honda. I think that she was definitely a victim in that video, but I don't think that she was a victim of all of the things she's alleging. Okay. But that's not what this is about. This just is about the fact that Diddy stood trial. Diddy got sentenced to whatever time he got. And it's like, we are beating this thing with a dead horse. Like it's too much. That I don't even know why they say that, but it's like, that is what we're doing to this man. Like, it's all kinds of memes and all this stuff about him. And now 50 is coming at him. And I get it. If 50 is like avenging his passed away friends, maybe on one hand I get it, but I don't know. Like, is it justice that we're seeking, or are we just like in the Coliseum, thumbs up or thumbs down? Like, what are we doing? And what are we doing it for? Is it for the victims or is it for our entertainment? I feel so icky. Like, this subject makes me so icky because it's like, I want to do the right thing, but then at the same time, it's like, I want to know. It's like, what happened? So anyway, we have to go on this rabbit hole together. And so here we go. All right.
The number one trending film on all of Netflix right now is the Sean Diddy Combs The Reckoning documentary. And I cannot understand for the life of me how this is not one of the top trending topics on all of social media. This is a documentary that is alleging and presenting their form of evidence to suggest that P. Diddy single-handedly played a role in both the death of Tupac and Biggie Smalls, which, regardless of how you feel, are two of the top unsolved murders, not only in hip-hop history, but American history.
I mean, isn't that just salacious in itself? Why can't we figure out who did that? I mean,
this is also a documentary that further substantiates the claim that P. Diddy for decades was not only assaulting and abusing the women that were around him, but dozens of men that were around him as well, including business partners. But not only that.
And do y'all believe that? Do men just allow that to happen to them? I don't know.
That is also alleged in this documentary that law enforcement was aiding in the cover-up of the many crimes of P. Diddy, including an individual who was the head security guy of Michael Jackson's security and one of two people present when Michael Jackson passed away. But the craziest part, believe it or not, is what the documentary failed to mention, which are all the things we're going to expose in this video.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of Diddy Got a Podcast. And of course, I'm your host, Diddy. Look, I went live last night and the live was like an hour and a half long. And typically people don't like to watch videos that long, especially when they're live because there's a lot of pauses. I'm responding to comments. So what I decided to do was to represent this video to you all in a much more convenient, comprised manner. I've gotten rid of all of the pauses, unnecessary conversations, and comments. We get right down to the nitty gritty, to the meat.
Y'all, he gets like to the juicy stuff. So y'all just hang in there with me. I promise you. I promise you.
And potatoes of everything, and I've even went as far to include B-rolls, videos, images, clips that further substantiate the claims that I'm making in this video about this documentary. This is one of those things you don't want to miss. Something I forgot to mention in yesterday's live as well is the interview that I gave just a couple of months ago with Jonathan Hay, the industry publicist who's responsible for my first video to hit 1 million views, by the way. Well, he came back onto the channel just a couple of months ago and revealed that he was the John Doe that was behind the lawsuit that's filed against P. Diddy earlier this year during the summertime. And he goes into details in this video. I will link it in the description if you would like to give it a watch. Once again, this is going to be a much more enjoyable watch as opposed.
I'm going to link his video in the description so y'all can watch this on your own and give him a like and definitely subscribe. This was my first time finding him, was this video. I've already liked it and subscribed to him. But yeah, it gets really good, y'all. Hey, Tony. Yes, classy. Yes, they talk about that in here, I think, too.
Opposed to a live, but I do share more information about other topics in the live as well if you want to check that out. Without further ado, please hit the like button on your way in. It really, really will help the video so it can be promoted to other people like yourself. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Like the video.
The Diddy documentary we need to talk about. I'm going to reference in this video multiple documentaries that I've created over the past 2 years. They're already linked in the description of this video. I would highly recommend you all go and watch those as I reference them.
G Honda. G Honda, I'm sorry. There's a donation from all my hoes demonetized. He wants to know, ask G Honda why he got busted for 16 pounds of baby oil. Come on, guy. G Honda, why do you have all that baby oil, sir? Oh my God. Yeah.
Throughout this video, because the Diddy documentary is a really, really big deal. We're going to talk about some of the revelations from that documentary. Those of you that don't know, there's a Diddy documentary on Netflix. There will be spoilers in this video, and there will be exposés, right? I will be exposing a lot of things.
Okay, y'all. So I haven't watched the documentary, but I'm the type of person where you could tell me all the scary parts in the movie and I'm still going to be scared like you never told me. So I don't mind spoilers, but if you haven't watched it and you don't like spoilers, then cut out now because he's going to talk about the documentary quite a bit. Like I said, I don't have Netflix, so I haven't seen it yet, but I have a few days off next week. I can't promise you that I won't start my 7-day trial.
Things from the documentary, but also a lot of things that they didn't talk about in the documentary that I assumed they weren't going to, because 50 Cent is one of the people that's behind the documentary. And 50 Cent, despite the fact that he's been beefing with P. Diddy for years, they don't get along. What I want people to remember and understand is that despite that, 50 Cent is still a part of the same industry that he's been complaining about, right? He's still a part of the same industry, which means some of the things that I'm going to point out in this live, 50 Cent is well aware of some of these things, but he's part of the industry. He's not going to talk about that. He's going to expose things from a surface level, so to speak, like if he abused women or not, if he abused drugs or not, was he behind certain pow-powings? He's not going to delve into other things that play a role into people's careers. All right. The first thing I want to talk about as we transition.
I do Nivea extra, like the extra strength oil. And then I do a little rose oil. I do rose oil. I don't do baby oil. I put maybe a little baby oil in my bathtub water when I take a bath, but y'all some freaks. Y'all got the gel, the baby oil gel. That's what the strippers use, is the baby oil gel. Okay, let me stop.
Into this, it's going to be, I want you all to notice how they start the documentary off. So they start this documentary off with P. Diddy. This right here, what you're looking at on the screen, is P. Diddy he had a videographer film him days before he was arrested. Allegedly, the purpose of this filming was so that Diddy could have this if he beat the trial as something to some sort of, body of work, documentary, short film he was going to be putting together.
Look at that still shot. You see the pill bottle in the background? What's this little plate right here? Like, with all the stuff that done leaked out about him. Like, you gotta be careful nowadays. But this is where the conspiracy theories start to come in, guys, okay?
In retrospect, right? That was the purpose of him having this person to film him. However, as we know that P. Diddy, quote unquote, lost the trial, even though he came off. He beat some of the charges he did not beat. And as a result of that, he allegedly did not pay the videographers. So the videographers end up selling the footage to 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson, who ended up using this for the documentary, right? Which is extremely ironic because this footage ended up being used against him. And there's many things from this documentary that was very revealing. However, there was many things that they left out. Something I want you to notice is that at the very beginning, September 10th, 2024, remember, P. Diddy is supposed to not know the day he's going to be arrested. Yet the day that they started to record this footage was 6 days before he was arrested, which he would later be arrested in like the hotel lobby that was caught on footage, on hotel cameras footage. So the first question that a person like me would have is it a coincidence that they started to film this 6 days in advance, almost as if P. Diddy knew the day in which he would be arrested? Because as we know, if you've watched any of my content, any of my documentaries, any of my More Than a Coincidence series, but especially if you've watched any of the videos that's linked in the description, then you will know that 6 is an extremely important number when it comes to the occult and when it comes to Freemasonry. All right.
Okay, so do y'all believe in Freemasonry and the occult? Because he makes a great point when he talks about this. I'm not gonna say it, but I'm just asking y'all, like, start thinking about, like, do you believe in this or not? Because he's about to make a great point about this, which made me pick the video to share with you all. Because it's like, we all have our things that we believe in, whether it's baptism, Catholicism, Protestant, Anglo-Saxon, all of us have our things, atheist. So could the occult be a thing? Is it a thing? Like, so y'all do believe it, Erica? Yes, Erica, yes, okay. Thank you. That's why I went down the rabbit hole. It's like, what is the truth, guys? What is the truth? Why haven't they found out who killed Diddy, who pow-powed Biggie or Tupac? It's like, how many coincidences do there have to be? And do you believe in coincidences? It's like a lot, right? It's like all these questions racing through my mind in the middle of the night, because I done overdosed on content, and now I am going down this P. Diddy rabbit hole. And so it's Faithfully Tony says 1000% yes. Anglo-Saxon. I took a lot of religious courses in my undergrad. I went to a Baptist college, so they made me learn a lot of, so I was just being funny when I said Anglo-Saxon, but you get the point, right? Come on, tell me you feel me. Tell me that you believe in this too, y'all. Am I the only one? God. Okay, here we go.
Something else I want you to note, that at the very beginning of this documentary, they were showing P. Diddy talking to his attorneys on the phone. And he has this necklace on around his neck, which really, really stood out to me. This is, since I've been doing this type of content, and it's sort of like just changed the way I look at life, but also how I watch films and how I watch documentaries. There are certain things that I'm looking for, right? And what I noticed is he was wearing this necklace. For those of you that don't know, this necklace is called, or the symbol of this triangle is called triquetra or triquetra, right? And just so you can get a better image of what this looks like, this is another variation of the symbol, right?
Y'all don't judge me. Don't judge me now. Don't judge me. But I'm not gonna say that I almost got that triquetra tattooed on me. And I could tell you right now, I had no idea it had anything to do with the occult. And y'all would be looking at me today if I would have got it. Y'all would have been looking at me like I was some kind of Shira 7 witch. What's up, Mr. Walker? Sorry, Mr. Walker. We're going down rabbit holes tonight. Come on with us. Come on. Come on with us. You know you like a good rabbit hole. Okay. All right. Let me stop. All right. King Spective says, people are people. I've been in groups of fraternal to just organization. Some people are good, some are bad. Yeah, you sound like my dad. Yeah, he would say that too. Cause he's a Mason. But he don't talk to me about stuff like that. Why? Like, why is everything a secret? That's why we're sitting down going through the rabbit hole right now. Okay, let me stop.
Quetra. And this could mean, it depends on what we're talking about, because it means many different things. It don't always necessarily mean something quote unquote evil. I want to say that for the record. However, it is heavy in the occult. All right. It could mean protection, sort of spiritual protection, which is going to come up and going to be relevant here in a moment once I talk about something else that was sort of portrayed in the film, in the documentary. This symbol could also mean mind, body, and spirit, right? Life, death, and rebirth, which on surface, on face value, you may say, well, that seems innocent. There's nothing wrong with that. Well, when it comes to the occult, if you call yourself a Christian, there is something wrong with that. If you watch my Young Thug documentary, the first, second, or the third one, we talked about the life, death, and rebirth rituals that's really big in Hollywood. They show these things in the music industry. They show these things with actors and actresses in films, right? Young Thug, Young specifically has portrayed this on his album cover. So let me search that with you all. This video is going to be more so like research based with each other. Here, let's look at it. Let's see a Young Thug Blood album cover, right? This is Young Thug, who is a self-admittedly, if you've been watching my content for some time, then you know that Young Thug is a self-admitted Freemason, right? This is something that many of you all should know by now. But I can't just assume that you know this.
If I ever catch my daddy out here acting like this, what? I didn't know Young Thug was a Freemason. Oh my God.
That you've been following my content. So if you don't know, yes, Young Thug is a Freemason. And he says that because he's a Freemason, he beats all his cases.
I'm a Mason. I beat all my cases. I'm a Mason. I beat all my cases.
Which this trial he just went through, which if any other regular person would have went through that, there's no way you're beating that. Even remotely beating that. You're spending probably...
You guys, listen, I'm from Atlanta and we pretty slick. We pretty slick out here. I'm telling you. I'm telling you we are. But to beat that kind of case... Do y'all know his attorney that got him off? He can't go nowhere in Atlanta without us like honking the horn at him, screaming at him, like, like he is good in any hood out here. But all of us were like scratching our heads because we just knew he was gone forever. And nope. And he out here saying it's from Freemasonry. Whew. I mean, oh, Lord.
3 to 4 life sentences behind bars. Instead, Young Thug got time served and he got a heck of a deal, even though he's on like a long probation or whatever. He still beat the murder charges, the RICO charges, right? This album cover is very similar to DMX's album
Yeah,
cover.
it
Let's go
is.
to DMX. Here's
Yeah,
another one,
blood of my
right?
blood.
Flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood. DMX spent a lot of time talking about the Lord, talking about God. He did in his music, but he also spent time talking about what he had to do to become famous, right? And it's not a coincidence. And I'm gonna show one more and then we can move on. I won't digress too much. But another one is Eminem. I talk about this on Patreon, which is the rebirth ritual that's really big with other celebrities. And it's him in the bathtub. Where is it at? Bingo, there it is. Eminem, a lot of people won't be as surprised to hear this with Eminem, but it's no different. It's all the same, right? These are life, death, and rebirth rituals that they're portraying through their music and their album covers. So when you look at symbols like what P. Diddy is wearing in this documentary, it's not as innocent as many people may believe. All right. But the overall, the number one reason I believe that P. Diddy is wearing this, though, is for quote unquote spiritual protection, because the purpose of this filming is because he's going through these allegations and all these lawsuits that's coming out, the woodwork from all these different people. He don't really know which way to look. He don't know who to go to. So he's, strategizing with his attorney on the phone, as we can see here in this still shot. All right. So there's that. Now, another part of this film, what you'll see in this documentary, there's a point in time where Diddy is walking the streets. He's giving fans hugs throughout New York. And while he's walking the streets, giving pictures, giving hugs, interacting with people, because he knows he's going to be arrested soon, there's a point in time where he gets into one of the SUVs with his team, and he talks about how he felt extremely disgusting. He felt extremely nasty because he had been interacting with all these different people that he didn't know, which I found that to be a bit distasteful, because why would you say that out loud? Why would you say that on video footage? But it also goes back to this necklace that he's wearing, because I do believe that P. Diddy viewed his quote unquote fans as the way in which we're going to discuss later in this video, the way he viewed everybody else in his life. And that's as expendable, as something, as a means to an end, right? He saw himself as above these people. So when he gets in the SUV, he talks about how he needs to take a scathing hot bath with peroxide because he's been interacting with people all day. He felt disgusting.
Did y'all watch this? Did y'all see this? yeah, Michelle. Yeah, I know he was recruited as they brought him in towards the end. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he helped with knocking out some of those charges. Come on, G Honda. Come on, have fun with us. We're having fun tonight. We're marrying serious topics with the occult. Come on, let's have a good time. Let's have a good time. Yes, his name is Brian Steele. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Being around them. All right. Something else that was portrayed in this film, see if I can pull this up, is the Diddy.
I actually kind of get the germaphobe stuff. I think that like I know a couple of people that are like really wealthy that are kind of like recluses because they feel like the outside world has like too many germs. And I don't know why that is. Usually with people with money, they have these weird quirks about them. And one thing that I've ran into a lot is germaphobes. So I could believe that if he has always been a germaphobe, I can see where touching people outside is gross to him. But it's still not something you say on camera, like especially for a documentary, pleading your innocence and trying to like humanize yourself and ingratiate yourself onto your audience. That's not the best way to do it. But I get it if he's a germaphobe.
Celebrity basketball game in 1991. So this event right here is one of the most devastating and sad occurrences in the music industry history that I don't think enough people talk about. Celebrity. This is an event that P. Diddy threw in 1991 where he invited a plethora of different musicians and artists and celebrities and basketball players out.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. It's not perfect yet. The hubby still has to build out the middle part and then put the things in right. But I couldn't hold back anymore. I needed it. I needed to show y'all that I'm official. I'm an official podcaster because I have a neon light. I'm so silly and childish. I can't help it. I bought it on Black Friday and it came like 3 days after my birthday. So I've been really holding back. But thank you, Mr. Walker. Thank you.
To this basketball celebrity, the celebrity basketball game at the
So these are all the people that passed away when he threw that celebrity basketball game. Look at these, how young these people are.
City College. Well, it is said that at this event, P. Diddy had apparently oversold it, so to speak. He had over promoted the event. So the capacity of the event could only hold a certain amount of people. There was still a ton of people outside the door. And I forget the phrase that they used in the documentary, but there is a phrase that they use to explain when fans are no longer allowed inside of the building, they rush the doors. And that's exactly what happened at this event, which would later lead to 9 people losing their life and thousands of people, or hundreds of people rather, was injured. I want you to also take note of the number 9, which in occultism, as above, so below. This is a lot of Baphomet or Baphomet worshipers believe it as above, so below. So the number 9 could very easily could be seen or viewed as the number 6. Am I saying unequivocally that this was a harvesting ritual? Allegedly. I'm not saying that unequivocally, but it does give you cause to pause, because P. Diddy took a lot of blame for this event, but he never faced any jail time. He just got a lot of backlash, right? It was sort of a reputational hit. And all he needed was the correct PR to sort of bounce back from that. And that's exactly what happened. Something else that's very important to note from this situation is that P. Diddy did something very, very clever that he did not learn himself, but he learned from others before him, like Clive Davis. If you have not checked out my Clive Davis, I put that up there as one of the best documentaries on this channel. Clive Davis, the mentor, the number 1 mentor behind P. Diddy. The other 2 people that had huge influences on P. Diddy was a guy by the name of Andre Harrell and a guy by the name of Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons, Andre Harrell are also mentioned in the Clive Davis documentary. And I also...
And did y'all hear what Kimora just did to Russell? Ooh, Russell been talking about that money that she used to bail out her last baby daddy or whatever she did. He been talking about it, and I guess he's been annoying her. So she came out and was like, Russell, why don't you answer your victims? I mean, she is tripping. She is tripping. You done stole that man's money and now you taunting him like this across the pond. Don't think he can't reach out and touch you just because he's out in Bali. Like, Kimora, that is not cool. That was crazy. But yeah, she coming up soon on a Rose report near you.
have my P. Diddy playlist linked in the description as well. All right. Something that's to note from this documentary that we found out, that not long after this City College stampede happened, P. Diddy, as if he expected that things like this could take place, was already prepared. What do I mean? He started Bad Boy Records. Remember, he used to work under Andre Harrell, right? Def Jam Records, Russell Simmons, and the crew. Well, P. Diddy did something very clever, which is he took his business, his record label, as we know, called Bad Boy Records, which I, once again, in the Clive Davis documentary, sort of get into the potential meaning behind the name Bad Boy Record, which is sort of tied indirectly to, what is it? What's the appropriate term for YouTube? The illegal moving of human bodies. Yeah. P. Diddy put his Bad Boy Records in the name of his mother and his best friend at the time, who was also a co-founder of Bad Boy Records, this guy by the name of Kirk Burroughs, who was also, by the way, featured in this documentary. He did this so that he could not directly be sued, because Bad Boy Records is listed under Diddy's mother and Diddy's best friend, but his name isn't on there. So if they wanted to sue him directly, he has very little to no money. so they wouldn't get anything, which I think is absolutely both genius and also evil. Because I would imagine if you're responsible for something like this, 9 people lost their life, 9 families are impacted and affected, you would want to do right by people. That's not Diddy's perspective. This right here is very similar to another situation that took place, and I'm just going to show it to y'all. I'm just going to share the screen. I didn't have enough time to have these images already downloaded, so I'm just going to share them to you. It's very similar to this situation. How many of you all remember this? Do any of you all remember this situation? This is the Travis Scott situation that happened a few years ago. Almost 8 passed away in the crowd. Many people looked at this very similarly as what they call a harvesting ritual. And let me just say for the record, for those of you out there that may feel like these things are conspiracy theories or they're so hard to believe or that they're a stretch, if you can acknowledge that there are different religions, but you can also acknowledge that within each respective religion, there is a belief system, certain rituals, and certain practices, then it shouldn't be very hard to believe that there are people in religions that participate in things called harvesting rituals because it's a real thing. Travis Scott at an event that was full of symbolism, such as this shirt that is showing blue individuals walking through a door and coming out on the other side as devils, which is very symbolic, right? Very, very symbolic. Let's see if I can find the poster. There's a very demonic poster from this event, and there it is. There's actually another one, though. See here. Here it is, full size. And it should come as no surprise that Young Thug in the top left corner was actually in attendance for this concert. As we can see, the one-eye symbolism, right? And the portal in the middle. Take a long, hard look at that. So that event was very similar. Many people lost their life. Many people were stampede. I mean, it's very similar. It was way too many people at this concert as opposed to the limit. And I was looking for an image. I can't find it, but there was a huge.
You all, that looks so spooky. Look at that poster. Like the hands reaching out to you with the eyes in the middle. Like that just looks so spooky. Oh my God. And it's like the eyes are making a face if you kind of like scoot back. It's like you can see like a piggy or something. Oh my God, that's so weird. Ugh.
Huge sign on this stage that said, "See you on the other side." All right. Capacity, that's the word. There was a certain capacity, and there were thousands of additional people because Travis Scott promoted it that way. Very similar to the P. Diddy situation, right? There's something else I want to show you all. So there's also a guy by the name of Sean. So let's look up Sean and Diddy. Sean and P. Diddy was involved in an incident in 1999. So this guy right here is his name is Jamal Barrow, but his nickname is Sean, and he was Diddy's right-hand man. In this documentary on Netflix.
Okay, so listen to this because I had no idea. This is so shady. Listen to this, y'all, about the attorneys. Listen to this. This is crazy.
Netflix, they talk about how P. Diddy set up. Now, earlier I mentioned how P. Diddy pretty much used everybody around him. Well, in this documentary, they talk about how P. Diddy manipulated Sean into taking jail time because he hired the attorneys that represented Sean. So let me back up here. P. Diddy, Sean, and P. Diddy's crew went to a club one night, and this lady ended up getting shot in the face. By the way, this is a lady that has since come out and said she saw for herself, and she was saying it at the time as well, that P. Diddy is the one that shot her. There's no discussion. He's the one that shot her. As the police was doing an investigation, Sean would eventually be arrested for this crime. P. Diddy would hire the attorneys for Sean. Sean didn't know at the time that these attorneys was also the attorneys for P. Diddy, which means that they had P. Diddy's interest in mind. It was a conflict.
Did y'all hear that? Is that even ethical? Are there any attorneys here that could tell me, is that ethical? Can you do that? Isn't that a conflict of interest? Anyway, I don't know. That is just crazy. How can one man be so diabolical that he can do all of these things? Because that is clearly a conflict of interest. Like you can't do that. Right? And if the judge finds that that is what happened to you, don't they have a duty to correct it? And if they didn't, why? Like, this is so a conundrum. This is like a clusterfuck. All right. So thank you, all my hoes demonetized. He says, new Rose report titled G Honda's transgressions against humanity sent you an IG roses. What? Sent you an IG roses? What? He's on my IG. Let me find out. G Honda done tried to infiltrate my IG. My IG is private. Let me find out, y'all. Let me find out. Anyway, here we go.
Interest. These these attorneys for P. Diddy manipulated the trial and has Sean to confess to shooting this.
Oh, Anna, what's up? Hey, thank you. She says, hey, sis, cancel culture, replace due process. Oh, my goodness. But it's like, is it cancel culture or is it just like us at the Coliseum getting entertained? Are we canceling people for justice or are we canceling people for entertainment? Because I'm all for canceling people for justice, but it just doesn't ever seem like we truly do the right thing with our cancellations. Yeah, so that was my point tonight, Anna. It's like, what are we doing here? It is Diddy really canceled? Because once his butt comes home, watch everybody go out and buy his latest album, you know? So is it cancel culture? I don't know. But it was a rabbit hole too good not to share.
This lady, even though he didn't do it, and he ended up doing jail time. He ended up doing jail time for this event, which is absolutely evil to do that. But let me tell you all something that they didn't share in the documentary. There's a guy by the name of Gene Deal. Gene Deal is the former bodyguard of P. Diddy. Many of you all watching this video right now or watching it on playback, you absolutely know who P. Diddy. I mean, if you know who P. Diddy is, you probably know.
Agreed, Anna. She's like, breaking media already decided. Exactly. Shit. Crazy. Ugh.
Who Gene Deal is. Well, he had a few things to say about this documentary, and I want to play the first clip of something that he said that I thought was crazy. Let's take a listen to what Gene Deal had to say here.
And we talk about the whole incident of the studio shit. Like in the documentary, they was talking about that, right? You know what I'm saying? They talked about the Quad Studio shit, but they didn't mention the fact, and they left it out, that Big and C's did not know that Puff and Andre Harrell was in Jimmy Henchman's office the day got killed. I mean, the day got shot at Quad Studio. Let me repeat that again so it don't get mixed up in the whole thing. They did not mention that Andre Harrell and Puff Daddy and Jimmy Henchman were all in the office together. Puff was on the office because he was trying to spy on Big them, because Big was writing the Junior Mafia stuff and Puff had his publishing. I told this to a couple of people before. I said it before, and you got people that's running with it like they knew the story in the whole 9 yards. You understand? They'll lie and you ask them, how do you know that? Who told you? They couldn't even tell.
So this part kind of confused me, but I guess he was spying to find out whether or not Biggie was writing for Junior Mafia, because if Puffy would have found out Biggie was writing for Junior Mafia, he would have been able to get that money too. I don't know. It's just so much juicy gossip out of this group.
Tell you that. They'll tell you some lie. They did some kind of investigation, but it didn't happen like that. You understand? Puff was there to spy on Big because he had Big publishing. And Big had turned around, and the same people who helped Puff get Big publishing told Big to turn and put Tatiana or put somebody else's name on his publishing or give it to Lil C's or whoever, this, that, and the third.
So everybody's snaking everybody. So even though they snaking each other, whoever is telling Biggie, they're giving him solid advice. Like, hey, look, put your stuff in your daughter's name or your mama's name, because this dude, It's like, dang, man, it's a lot of snakes in the grass in this industry. I knew that, but you always wonder, like, what was it? What was it? And why did it happen like this? And the rumor was that Biggie had to go because he was worth more to somebody, passed away than alive. And that is so scary that you would do business with someone and they would take that position that you would be better off to them, passed away than alive. That is just a scary feeling. Like working on the streets, you always got to look over your shoulder, but this is like paperwork. Like, man, like
that he wrote for so he can get the money from it. So that's how that went down.
No, that I know Junior Mafia was Biggie, right? But they didn't want Biggie to say he was writing anything, and I have to think that it was because Diddy was stealing the publishing. So although Diddy is telling people to do shady stuff to grab up whatever Biggie's doing for Junior Mafia, I guess Biggie was trying to keep that a secret so that Puffy couldn't steal whatever under the guise of the Junior Mafia thing. Because the Junior Mafia was a multitude of artists, right? It was Lil C's, Lil Kim. And I think they were saying Diddy was spying because he was trying to figure out, was Biggie writing for them? It's a lot of juicy gossip. I don't know, y'all. I don't know if I'm listening to this right, but yeah.
So they was there to spy on Big. In an interview being there on Big, Jimmy Henchman told him that they finna teach Pac a lesson. Because Pac had owed him some money. So that's why he was up in the studio and was coming to the studio. Pac owed him some money. He was gonna work it off and get some money from doing a song with Lil Sean. And that's what that was about. But Pac was talking greasy to Jimmy Henchman, and Jimmy Henchman wasn't the type of dude that you talk greasy to, allegedly, unless you're 50 Cent.
So Diddy knew what was going to happen to Pac.
He knew Pac was about to be up. Well, yeah, he was there to see it. He was there to see it. He wasn't only there to see Big them. When Jimmy Henchman told him that, he was there to see what's going to happen to Pac. He was there for that. Because had he not been there for that, he would have went up there in the office. He would have went to the studio or the studio session with Big them. He would have went to that studio session with Big them. He knew what room Big them was in. He didn't do that. He was there to see what was going to happen to Pac after Jimmy told him.
Now, I want to make sure that people understand what you just heard. So in the documentary on Netflix, they showed a scene where many of you all that have followed Tupac's career close enough, you know that there was a moment where he was shot. He was pop-out outside of Quad Studios, and he actually survived. So this is not the situation or the incident in Las Vegas. But in the documentary, they basically paint it in a way in which that allege or allude to the fact or insinuate that P. Diddy had something to do with it, or at least had foreknowledge. Gene Deal, the former bodyguard right here of P. Diddy, is saying that someone else actually was behind it, but P. Diddy knew about it. But part of the reason why I wanted to cover this is because I want you all to understand how big of a deal that this is, that we have a documentary right now on Netflix that is insinuating that P. Diddy single-handedly himself is behind both the pow-powing of both Tupac and Biggie. Biggie was signed to P. Diddy. Tupac, they allege in this documentary, was very envious of Tupac. It was very envious of Tupac. That's crazy, man. And what he's saying in this clip right here is that P. Diddy, in fact, knew about it. And he was there not only to spy on Biggie, which is going to be important here in a moment, with what we're about to discuss about Biggie's death and Diddy's alleged role in Biggie's death, but also some other things. Because Gene Deal also had some things to say that the documentary did not talk about. And I do believe that this was intentional, because if they touched on it, then certain things were probably going to have to get brought up. And that is Kim Porter. Kim Porter, for those of you that don't know, is the mother of Diddy's children, who lost her life many years ago from quote unquote pneumonia. For those of you that don't know, a common practice in Hollywood is for people to be poisoned. But in your autopsy, it will appear the same way that pneumonia will show up. A guy by the name of Big Homie CC, the celebrity bodyguard, has said that he's experienced this himself, and he's heard about this and been seeing this in the industry for some time. Well, Gene Deal shared some revelations about how Kim Porter and Diddy actually met. And it wasn't just the fact, or it wasn't exactly the fact that P. Diddy stole Kim Porter from her then boyfriend, a guy by the name of Al B. Sure, who was a very popular, I believe, R&B artist at the time, who also, by the way, also lost his life under very suspicious circumstances as well. But according to Gene Deal, Kim Porter was actually being passed around before she got to Diddy, which is how she ended up working for Def Jam as a receptionist to begin with.
And when I was looking at this documentary, we already know that Diddy, he took Kim Porter from Albie Shore, but I had no idea that she was working at the front office at Uptown.
Well, first of all, man, they got part of the shit right. You understand? And they was talking about how Kim Porter worked at the front desk. How did Kim Porter, coming from Georgia, get a position like that to work at the front desk?
Okay. All right. Hold on. So we got some intel, y'all. We got some intel. Thank you for your donation, Better Believes Me. He says, Junior Mafia was never on Bad Boy. They were on a label that Big and Lance Honduras Riviera had together. Has nothing to do with Puff. Well, then why was he spying on him? That's what allegedly is what that he was allegedly spying on whatever was going on with Biggie and whatever was, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. Okay, so we got a little tea. So Junior Mafia was never under Bad Boy. So Junior Mafia was just Biggie's and the other guy. I think I've come across a couple of his videos, this Lance guy. Maybe we'll review one of his videos another time. Because yeah, someone in the chat said Devon Mitchell said, sounds like they're going to try to charge Diddy with Pac's death. Remember how they came out with a documentary about R. Kelly before he went to jail? Now they came out with a documentary about Diddy. Great point. Oh my goodness. So wait a minute, y'all. So he done beat all these other charges. He has to sit down for 3 years. Y'all think when he gets out, they're going to try to charge him for something else? Or you think they going to try him while he's locked up for what he's locked up for now? Either way, that's diabolical. Lord have mercy. Okay, here we go.
Yes, of Uptown Records. You understand? First and foremost, you got your man Russell Simmons out here dealing with these young girls. You understand? Kim Porter was one of them. She was then passed from Russell Simmons to Andre Harrell. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm just gonna give it to you. You understand? Because these we out here playing, talking all this shit, and be acting like they know what they talking about. She was working for Russell first, then she was passed over to Andre Harrell. You understand? So now Andre Harrell has her in the office and stuff like that. And it was said that it was a girl also in Uptown, and I don't know if it was Kim. I don't know if it was Kim or one of her friends walked in on Andre Harrell getting a fellatio and was given a red Mercedes-Benz 300C for keeping her mouth closed behind it. You understand? Because when Kirk Burroughs was talking about Puff did that or whatever like that, you understand? It actually happened to Andre up in Uptown Records. Kim Porter's at the desk because Andre Harrell is doing Russell Simmons a favor by giving her.
Okay, hold on. Let's stop. We got another super chat. Let's see what Better Believes Me says. He says, it's alleged that Big was going to leave Bad Boy and just be on and run his own. Just be on his just be and run his own label. Lance was stabbed. Oh, that was the guy that Jay-Z poked. That you're saying that guy was Biggie's partner and owned Junior Mafia, or they were part. Oh, you guys. We need to call a commission. You get it? We need to call a commission. Sorry. I don't mean to laugh because it ain't funny. This is spooky as hell. But y'all, come on, man. Are we living in the Matrix? Because it's only in the movies that you could be a part of so many different forms of debauchery and deletions, from Biggie to Tupac, Shine, the lady in the club that got pow-powed in the face, Cassie, Rod, the producer Rod, how can you be so evil? What he did to Wolf, or allegedly, the BMF guy. Like, what? Is it possible to do all of these bad things and nothing happens to you? You don't even get a scratch or a fight or nothing. All your friends have been pow-powed or died from pneumonia some mysterious way, and nothing comes upon you? That man, I mean, what? Okay, here we go.
Her job over there. Because now Russell Simmons is trying to get her friend Kamoya. Because all of them was actors. I mean, all of them was models. Kim, Kamoya, and they was young girls. So now her and Al get together and everything like that. Check this out. Kim didn't get with Puff until Puff got his deal. Because you got to realize Misa Kim was cool. Kim didn't get with Puff until after Puff got his deal. So all that he got him from Al and stuff like that. Nah. She went with the money was, bro. She went with the money. And you could call it whatever you want to. You understand what I'm saying? That's how it was. You understand? I think Justin could have been about 2 or 3 or something like that when they really made it a thing. It takes me back, brother. I don't know. But I know they was cool. Misa was cool with Kim. You understand? Because Kim was with Al in the whole 9 yards, and Misa was with Puff. Kim went over and snaked Misa with Puff when Puff got a deal, when he finally got that deal with Clyde Davis.
Bingo.
And the money came in. So she started messing with him, this, that, and the third, the whole 9 yards. Now, it goes deeper than that because Kim turns around and she gets snaked. And nobody said this in the documentary. She gets snaked by Sarah, which is her best friend. It was Tanisha, Sarah, and Kim.
And when I met Sarah, aka Pumpkin, she was with Keith Sweat. Allegedly, I don't know, I snapped. I was a very young girl, but I remember her distinctly being at band practice with Keith Sweat.
Those 3 girls right there used to always be together. So she done snaked Misa, you understand? Sarah ended up snaking Kim over a $500 bet that Puff had in the office that he was going to take her from some basketball player dude that she was messing
Gary
with.
Payton.
At the time.
Gary Payton.
Gary Payton.
Yep.
You're right. Gary Payton. Now, allegedly, I don't know if Gary was messing with her or whatever like that.
Fellas, is this how y'all get down? Y'all just be trying to win each other's girls off of bets like it's a baseball or football game? Shameful, fellas. This is just shameful.
But that's what he told, that's what he said. But Sarah goes deeper than that. Sarah was messing with Tupac. She was messing with Corey, and she goes with Puff and have a baby by him. You understand what I'm saying? So all these girls who all are friends get manipulated by Puff, and they at one time was like enemies. They wasn't effing with each other. Then all of a sudden, I guess money had changed that whole shit for you.
What was Puffy's relationship like with Kirk Burrows?
Now, this is the part of the interview that's going to get very interesting because
y'all, this is about to get juicy.
Because this is Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, being asked about Diddy's relationship with Kirk Burrows. As a reminder, Kirk Burrows, before we continue this, let me show you what he looks like. Kirk Burrows is this guy right here that was featured in the documentary. This guy is one of the co-founders of Bad Boy Entertainment, alongside P. Diddy, who was quote-unquote best friends with him at the time. But Kirk Burrows talks about in this interview or in this documentary on Netflix how P. Diddy assaulted him. He claims that P. Diddy wasn't just assaulting women, he also assaulted him in the early 90s. But according to Gene Deal, he don't know if that's exactly true, maybe initially, but he believes that they were actually a thing. But I'll let him tell it.
Bruh, Kirk Burrows was the president of...
Okay, we got another donation from All My Hoes Demonetized. He says, great content tonight. G Honda should be arrested, and I hope my chats put a smile on your face. Good night. They did put a smile on my face. Yeah, I don't know what G Honda, I don't know what travesty you have committed against All My Hoes Demonetized, but G Honda, you owe him an apology. Whatever you did, you owe him an apology, okay? Get it together. Get it together. Come on, come on. No, not egregious. Say, I'm sorry, All My Hoes Demonetized, and tell him good night.
bad boy. I met Kirk, because I knew Diddy from the same gang. I didn't meet Kirk until Diddy asked me to start letting him call in so I could do security for him or whatever like that. It went like I wouldn't do security unless Puff called me himself. But then he said, yo, let Kirk, because I don't know my schedule, Gene. I don't know what I'm going to do. Let Kirk, call you and let you know what schedule I have if you could do security for me on those days. Now, I told Diddy at the time, yo, man, I don't want nobody to know anything. So if anything happened, you don't know me. All right? I told him that. Just like that. If anything had to go down, you don't know me. And I was saying that
Gene, get to it.
In the sense, whereas that if anything had to go down and shit like that, let the people do their own homework. Don't give them my name up and everything like that. Anybody.
Oh my God. Thank you, honey Thomas. You have no idea. I have the flattest hair. I got no curls because I got in trouble because I have an area that my hair goes through this thing in the winter time where my scalp gets dry. And so, yeah, I feel like I have a bad hair day. And so you just said that. So thank you. Thank you. And your lips look popping, girl. Yeah.
Will tell them like that if you are doing security for a dude of that caliber. So now, Kirk Burrows, me and Puff, for some odd reason, after the red zone, because Puff used to do, they didn't talk about this, he used to do the building, Daddy's house, whereas that unsigned rappers, unsigned artists would rap at this place, and it was called the building on Monday nights. Then he would do the red zone on Wednesday. I would have to go with him and make sure that he was all right and take the money to Kirk Burrows' house after the red zone. But I didn't think nothing at the time. At that time, I didn't think nothing of it, that he was spending the night with Kirk Burrows either every Wednesday night. He got a whole girl at home, but he's spending the night with Kirk Burrows. He's staying at Kirk's house. Like, yo, all right, cool.
That's weird.
Didn't think nothing of it. And then I made a mention to some people over the years that him and Puff used to wake up and pray together. And I'm in my mind, I know he's talking about saying prayers and all that shit like that. But in my other mind, I'm thinking you waking up with a dude praying? Shit is going on. Then there was a situation that somebody said long time ago in the office, they caught Kirk giving Puff a fellatio in the office.
Wow.
Now that was
Why does he call it a fellatio? Why can't he just say he was giving him fellatio? But he has to say he was giving him a fellatio. You guys, when I got married, if I could tell y'all something funny, on my wedding day, since we were talking about my grandma earlier on a previous podcast with Ali and the Untouchable Network Empire. I'm sorry. We were talking about my grandma and yeah, never mind. My grandma asked me on my wedding day, she doesn't know how to speak English. So the two letters that she used was BJ. And I'm like, ¿Qué? ¿Sabes? Like, what are you saying? And she's like, do you know blowjob? BJ? I'm like, what? No, I don't know that. She was like, get to know that.
The rumor that was going around. How true it is, they was lovers. It came out in his lawsuit. He tried to say that Puff was, what he said, sexually assaulting him. But if somebody's sexually assaulting you, how you letting them come stay at your house every Wednesday night after the club?
Because Diddy, and this is one of the things that they didn't talk about in this documentary, Diddy is a part of the Boule.
Gotcha. I know you may or may not, I know you're going to believe me. You have what's called the Illuminati. How do I know this?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. How do you know this?
You know Sean Combs?
Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself these days. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's part of what's called the Boule. The Boule is a branch of the Illuminati.
Okay.
I had settlement with Sean, okay? Okay. And he belongs to that agenda. That's what's so famous. I had with Cassie and Sean. Basically, he would master tell me what to do with Cassie. I had like 15 encounters, and I heard lots of business. Because what they would do is Sean talks a lot on the phone and on the TV with speakers and stuff, and I was like a slave. Okay, for them that's what I was. That's all. All right. I called herpes, and I came back and I seen.
Okay, so this is a lot. And yes, CEO, everybody was clowning this man, saying that this man was lying. They were saying, because at the time, I think the only person that was like reporting on this, and y'all don't hold this against me. Yes, I do watch Tisa Tales sometimes. So I was watching Tisa. And Tisa was all over this John Oddie thing. I mean, she was like, you would have thought she was Nancy Grace up here reporting on P. Diddy. So yeah, this guy was allegedly one of their slaves, or whatever. And he says he contracted the disease from them and he got paid some money. But the reason why he's in jail right now talking to police, which the guy that's doing whose video we're reviewing right now, he's not going to say, but this guy got in trouble for powing up the Trump Towers in Florida. Yeah. And apparently when he was messing with Diddy and Cassie, it was like probably a couple of years from this time, and he was supposedly had hair and was more in shape, because everybody was like, he looks gross, why would they pay him, blah 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 blah. But apparently he was a pretty hot guy. And then all my hoes demonetized. Oh my god, I thought you went to bed. He said, so thank you for your donation. Thank you. He says, your grandma's good advice. She's a national treasure. Now, good night for real. Arrest G Honda. Shout out to my Oella. May she rest in peace. But yeah, she was very concerned about that. She wanted to make sure that, if I wasn't, aware of it, that I needed to get aware of it. But you don't tell your grandma, I got that down packed. You don't say that to your grandma. Good night, all my hoes demonetized. See, you done got me in trouble.
And one, but Mark Eros and Ben Mercedes were his attorneys, okay? And Christopher Leon's here was my attorney. They asked me to turn in that, which was the video recording, and I did so. They gave it back to me accidentally, and it's possible I threw everything out. It's possible I can produce a copy.
Gotcha.
It's possible. I'm not sure. Now, my settlement put me in a box. Basically, I couldn't talk because I was be sued. So I let it be, but they've been following me, and they've had, Mark Garrett has had the FBI on me, has had other agencies looking at me and spying on me, okay, because they want to set me up as an extortionist, like if I was extorting Sean for money.
And I believe some of these things are ritualistic. I also believe that some of the things that he was doing and participating with, as far as what's her name, Cassie, I believe that some of those, what do they call it, the quote unquote freak offs. I believe that the freak offs were quote unquote ritualistic, 100%, right? Which, by the way, I don't find it as a surprise that 50 Cent helped co-produce or executive produce this documentary, not only because of his beef or quote unquote beef with P. Diddy, but also because it came out during Diddy's trial that the mother of 50 Cent's son was actually participating in the freak offs. Now, how crazy is that? I will be furious to find that out, right? Gene Deal, I do believe him, but he also was a bodyguard for celebrities, and I also look at them a little sideways. I'm watching Gene Deal's hand signs while he was talking, and he was throwing up some devil horns a couple of times. I caught it. Maybe it was innocent, maybe not, but I do believe that Gene Deal is single-handedly responsible for exposing a lot of things. He's been saying for years that he believes that P. Diddy is behind Biggie's death, because for those of you that don't know, this was revealed in the documentary as well. Biggie was supposed to go to the UK. He's supposed to go overseas, somewhere overseas. And it was decided by Diddy and Diddy by himself that Biggie was no longer going. Biggie did not want to go to California because of the beef or the quote unquote issues that they had. And they were quote unquote not allowed to go or step foot in California. Diddy decided to ignore that, still told Biggie he had to come. And that's what happened, and we know the rest. Well, what was revealed in this documentary that a lot of people didn't know was that even in Biggie's death, P. Diddy did some snake behavior. He took the clause of Biggie's paperwork and he changed some of the forms in the middle of that paperwork. The reason why that's important is because you typically sign, like you write your signature at the beginning and probably the end, maybe a few times in between. But those pages where you don't have to sign, it's easy to switch them out with other forms. So when Biggie lost.
And as a paralegal in my former life, I will tell you that you initial every freaking page. Even if the attorney says that you don't have to sign it, you still put your initials on every page. And when they send you copies of what they're filing, you look to see that your signature and your initials are on all the pages. Even if it's not a signatory page, you still put your initials on it. You just want to see your signature, your initials all through that document. And then after that paperwork is filed, it would behoove you to pay for a copy and go through that copy and make sure that that copy has all of your initials on all of those pages that were not signed. Okay, this is free game. All right. Initial every page, even if it's a 3-page document from your car dealer or whatever, it can be your car warranty. Sign every page. And I know those car warranties can be super long. It doesn't matter. Okay, because in 2 years, when something goes wrong and you need them to fix it, they're going to be like, oh, that wasn't on the page. No, sir. I have the page right here. Okay, it totally is under warranty. Okay, so that's free game for y'all.
His life, it is said in this documentary that Diddy changed some paperwork that manipulated the details of his deal. It also came out that it was forced that he had Biggie himself to pay for his own funeral. But what they don't tell you in this documentary is that there is a high chance that P. Diddy and Biggie Smalls was romantically involved with each other. That's what they don't tell you in the documentary. Again, you got to watch my Diddy documentary videos. We go all into the details of this, from very suspect lyrics from Biggie Smalls, alleged transgenders that was featured in his videos, behavior between Diddy and Biggie on camera, for everybody to see.
Diddy and Biggie were a little too close.
I look at him like, I say Jesus.
And next question is.
It's not the behavior of a typical heterosexual man. And I think by this point in time, it's not.
Is that what? What, y'all? Wait, what? When I saw that, I was like, what? What? Ice Cube would never. What? My first gangster rap album was The Predator by Ice Cube. And my uncle gave it to me because I had just moved to Atlanta and I was still listening to like raw bass. And my uncle was like, you ain't gonna make it here listening to that. He was like, go home and learn this album right here and you gonna be all right. And so every day I was listening to The Predator, stopping the tape, writing down the words, rapping it, playing the tape, stopping the words, writing it, rapping it. Y'all can't mess with me with that Predator album, okay? Y'all not ready to do that karaoke.
Not a secret that Diddy is not heterosexual. It's not even a conspiracy theory anymore. So that makes this claim that less far-fetched. I also want to state for the record that I mentioned earlier that, it came out in this documentary that Diddy was jealous of Tupac. But that does not let Tupac off the hook, because I do believe that Tupac was an industry plant, 100%. I also believe that there's a strong chance that Tupac was a homosexual himself. I don't believe that simply acting or behaving feminine at a younger age or an older age necessarily makes you homosexual. I do not believe that. However, I do believe that it says a lot that you can have drastically different personalities in the matter of 2 years, in the matter of 3 years, with no signs of that previous side of your personality. As many of you have seen by now, there's an infamous video, Tupac when he was 17 years old. And a lot of people have just noticed his feminine behavior or hand gestures, and his voice is just different from what was plastered everywhere throughout his both acting and his music career, which I would argue that both was acting.
But I like it. It's nice. It's like a learning stage for me.
Do you wish you could be 18 and when you get some more rights?
Well, 18 will bring lots of responsibilities that I don't want, but it'll bring respect that I feel like that's the only way I can get it. I try to be as mature as I can be and demand it wherever I can get it. But 18 is like, you're an adult. Like today, when I had to sign the release form, I felt so bad because I couldn't sign it myself. I had to go and get my mother's and all that. But 18 it's just society's way of saying that you're ready. When you get out there, the responsibility is staggering. And I'm ready. I'm going to be a little more ready than someone who's grown up in Disney World, with Santa Claus is coming. My mother had a really bad childhood and my father had a bad childhood and I had a bad childhood, but I love my childhood. Even though it was bad, I love it. I feel like it's taught me so much. And I feel like nothing can faze me. Nothing in this world, nothing can surprise me. It might set me back, but only momentarily, only to spring back. But don't get the wrong idea. I feel like I'm being gloomy. I don't mean just be like, damn it, it's bad out there. But I mean, when the good things come, and they are going to come, and everybody knows that. Good things are going to come, and you're going to see them for yourself. You're going to see if they're good. But it's harder to see the bad things, and everybody wants to shield the bad things, and that's where it gets complicated and it gets real rotten.
What do you think is the hardest thing about being your age?
The hardest thing about being my age is, not everybody, but frequently, teenagers are stereotyped in being loud music loving, girl chasing, car wanting, not caring about the world.
Man, look at that. Who touches their ear like that? Come on, man.
Being loud music loving, girl chasing, car wanting, not caring about the world. Cokeheads, drinking coke and smoking and being drug addicts. And I mean, in some ways we are. I mean, I chase girls and want the car and loud music, but it's secret, but the world is bad shit.
I've seen guys speak to women with this much respect.
I would love to have him on the panel with Ali. And Trigger Mike and Uncle Rick.
And I deplore that. My mother is just totally, I grew up, my mother raised me. So I have this much respect for women, and I feel often because of that. And it gives me a lot of friends. I mean, I get a lot of friends, but I get a lot of friends because I have respect for women, ultra respect for women. But then, like I was liking this girl in Tam, and I'm extra nice, extra gentleman. I'm extra just like, oh, you're beautiful and you deserve the best. And she told me I was too nice. I couldn't believe it. It wouldn't work because I was too nice. That was the ultimate stab in the back. So I went through a week of just going, forget it. I'm just going to be like them because they seem to get the girls and they call girls the B word, and they smack and beat and they're getting girls. And I'm going, peace, and I think you're beautiful. And I'm thinking, I like him because he's masculine. I mean, and with the guys, I'm trying, and like yesterday he was cursing and I was like, don't curse. And he got mad at me because I told him not to curse. But my plan is that if I keep telling girls not to let them call you these names, and if I keep saying it, it's going to catch on because the girls won't allow them to be their boyfriend if they're going to speak to them like that, and they're going to want me. So in order to not get them to go with me, they're going to have to change, and that's how they change. So I'll be the scapegoat, no problem, as long as it changes. So yeah, I think it's going to work. I think it'll work out.
Listen to me. For those of you that want to make excuses for this, I'm just saying, regardless of what you may feel about this clip, I have my thoughts. How do you go from that to what he became, right? Let me show it. Hold on. How do you go from that to this? How? Really, bro? Some people have come out and said, well, after his, I think, 1996 film Juice, where he played a gangster role, he was never the same. No. No. You don't become this. I believe all of this was an act. But I say all of that to say, just so I can get back on point, the point of me mentioning this is to say, I believe a lot of these people were actors. That's what they won't tell you in the documentary. P. Diddy was a part of the Boule. If you have not seen my Martin Luther King documentary, I would highly recommend this. It's linked in the description. I would highly recommend you go and check that out. That documentary is crazy, especially or specifically when we speak about the Boule, because P. Diddy and Martin Luther King Jr. had quite a bit in common. There are certain responsibilities that you have been a part of the Boule. You're sort of the intermediary between the elite whites that are Freemasons and the lower class blacks, so to speak. Boule is like the upper echelon of so-called black society. P. Diddy is a part of that, allegedly. I also have reason to believe that T.D. Jakes, the pastor, I also have a couple of videos on him, right? I also believe that Tupac was playing a role, not just in his films, but in the music industry. Is a part in the film, let me see if I can find his picture, by a guy by the name of Lil Rod. Let me pull him up. So Lil Rod, so there's a guy by the name of Lil Rod. He worked on Diddy's album called The Love Album. And in this documentary, he pretty much revealed that he wasn't really ever properly compensated. And really that's what led to him suing. Otherwise, I'm not so sure that he would have even sued P. Diddy to begin with, even though he also alleged in this documentary that he was SA'd. For those of you that don't know what that means, somebody please hop in the comment section and let them know. He was SA'd.
So may I ask the gentleman something? Like, if you were SA'd by another man, are you filing a police report? Like, what are, in this case, Little Rod just sued for money, I would want to seek justice. If you did that to me, I would want you in jail. I wouldn't care about no freaking money. I just wouldn't want you to do it to another lady or to me again, right? Because if you're crazy enough to do it one time to me, you're likely gonna do it again if you get the opportunity. So to me, that's just wild that you would be hanging out and partying with and continue to be around and work for somebody that was doing that to you. I don't know. Like, it's just like, can one person be so bad? And if they are so, how were they able to be this bad all this time for all this long, since the early 1990s? Golly. I mean, you've got to be really diabolical.
By P. Diddy. This is Lil Rod, and obviously that is P. Diddy. He said that he believed that he was drugged by Diddy. He would wake up sometimes and Diddy would be in the bed with him. But there is something else that he referenced that I want people to not take light of. He mentions a situation where P. Diddy and his son allegedly shot a guy or pow-powed a guy in their bathroom. And Lil Rod witnessed this, or at least he was in the outside room when it took place. There was red liquid everywhere. There was blood everywhere. He mentions how this situation was swept under the rug. The police was called, the ambulance showed up, but they was able to manipulate the crime scene where it appeared as if the situation took place somewhere else, not in the bathroom. The way that they were able to pull this off is because P. Diddy had a guy that he knew that was a part of the police force, law enforcement, that was in his pocket. This was P. Diddy's single designated guy. His name was Fahim. Every time Diddy had a situation, this guy Fahim would show up and make it go away. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because
they say this guy was formerly the head security for Michael Jackson. Another mysterious death. So do you see why I picked this video as the Easter egg to send the rest of you down this rabbit hole with me? Why are all these suspicious characters around all this death? What is going on?
Because P. Diddy did not learn this, and it did not start with P. Diddy. Just like P. Diddy putting Bad Boy Entertainment in his mother's and his best friend's name to avoid legal troubles, he did not learn that himself. Just like drugging people, he did not learn himself. He learned this from those that came before him, like Clive Davis, like Andre Harrell, those that showed him the game. That's what they don't talk to you about in the documentary. I don't know how you put a documentary like this together and you don't mention Clive Davis. That's crazy to me. You don't mention the wrongdoings of Andre Harrell. You don't mention the Boule. You don't mention Freemasonry, because a lot of these things was ritualistic, right? Gene Deal also said that if it comes out, or if it's true, that P. Diddy paid to have Tupac pow-powed in Las Vegas, which eventually led to him losing his life, quote unquote, then Kirk Burroughs, the same guy who was a part of the documentary, the same guy who claimed that P. Diddy assaulted him, the same guy that Gene Deal said that was staying all night with P. Diddy. Gene Deal says that Kirk Burroughs would have known where the money would have came from because he was over the finances at Bad Boy Records, which is absolutely crazy to be saying that, because that would implicate Kirk Burroughs as well. In the documentaries, they talk about a guy named Zip, who was the middleman. Allegedly, he paid off gang members to take out Tupac. The middle guy was someone by the name of Zip. He was the intermediary between P. Diddy and the gang members. And in the documentary, they allege that Diddy gave only half, $500,000 to Zip, since the only person that was unalive that night was Tupac and not Suge Knight as well. Well, Gene Deal is saying he for himself saw $1 million check from Zip that allegedly came from Jimmy Henchman, the same guy that P. Diddy was in the studio with, Quad Studio, the night that Tupac got pow-powed the first time. Gene Deal says that, along with another friend of his, they saw with their own eyes $1 million check from Jimmy Henchman that was given to Zip. So where would $1 million come from? Because it came, he said that check came immediately after the Tupac incident, right? Immediately after the Tupac incident. How do you explain that? I believe there was a lot more ritualistic homosexuality happening, as been alleged in the industry for a long time, and the documentary chose not to take that route. I wonder why, right? I wonder why. But a lot of the things that I said in this video will make way more sense if you check out the links in the description to my Clive Davis documentary, which is a lot more enjoyable to watch. It's not like the live. You have a B-roll, you have video footage, you have imageries and photos. So it's a lot more enjoyable than these lives. People keep saying that Tupac stayed in the Juice character. I don't believe that. If you're alleging that he stayed that way unintentionally, or if you're alleging that he stayed that way because he couldn't get out of it, so not unintentionally, but I'm not buying it. I think it was all an act on purpose to push the country in a particular direction in the urban community. Because remember, that was around the time of COINTELPRO, or after COINTELPRO. That was around the time of the war on drugs, and that was around the time that the alleged meeting happened in the 90s of these group of white elite Jewish men that decided that they were going to create the hip hop to prison pipeline. They needed the music to help encourage criminality. And that's exactly what happened. It's no secret that immediately after that, Tupac is birthed, Biggie is birthed. The lyrics, hip hop used to be conscious, right? Very intellectual. It's no secret that it changed and it was abrupt around the time that NWA was a thing, right? But yeah, again, this video will make more sense if you go and check out my Martin Luther King documentary, my Clive Davis documentary, and my P. Diddy playlist. Because this guy right here, Lil Rod, his story is very similar to Kevin McCall, the video that I posted like a week and a half ago, who was the ghostwriter to Chris Brown. Kevin McCall also alleged that Chris Brown was involved in homosexuality in the music industry. Kevin McCall shares in an interview how he indulged in, quote unquote, the dark side, to be rebellious, right? Interacting with people like Marilyn Manson, who's putting on women breasts on his album covers, an open Satanist. Why would you be hanging out with that person? It's the same thing with Lil Rod. When you place yourself in certain circumstances and you see the red flags, but you continue to do it because you think it can help your career, these are chances that you're taking on your own, right? Let me show y'all that album cover of Marilyn Manson if you've never seen it. I would highly encourage you all to go and watch my Kevin McCall documentary as well. It's also in the it's also in the description. Now, I'm gonna be honest. This is just my honest opinion. As I watched Lil Rod interact, I think part of the reason Diddy had him around was because Diddy probably already felt like Lil Rod he's swaying that way. And Lil Rod, if you see this video, man, I mean no disrespect, but to be honest, to me, I get those vibes from you like you are. That's my personal opinion. You know what I mean? Like certain types of men.
And he said that with his full chest at like 17. Hey, he got a plaque on the wall. He seems to be a very diligent researcher. I'm riding with him. Trey, I know he's not even 30 years old yet, but he seems very passionate and thorough. So I'm rocking with him.
I just don't think Diddy would have had around because he'd know what the consequences would have been. Marilyn Manson naked cover. Look at this. Why would you be around? Like, what is this? What is that? So you got Chris Brown's ghostwriter, Kevin McCall, saying that he was hanging out with this person, Marilyn Manson Satanist. I share all of this in the documentary. Look at this. Come on, bro. You're willing to be around this person. Anyways, those documentaries would help complete a lot of what you heard in this video. Okay. And it won't sound like I'm just doing all this rambling. It'll connect some dots for you.
Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing this, but y'all, what do y'all think about that? That's crazy, right? Wait, I can't see y'all. Hold on. Oh no. Oh no. Let me get y'all back. Hold on. Okay, there you guys are. Okay, yeah, man, that's crazy, right? Like, I had to take y'all down this rabbit hole with me. Ugh, like what to believe? What is going on? Why are these people so crazy? It's just music. Like, why everybody gotta like perish and go down to the bottom of the barrel and pass away mysteriously? Like, what is this? Ugh. If this was any other industry, if people were just going missing from being flight attendants at Delta Airlines, this would be like front page news every day. But I guess because it's rappers and it's men mostly, no one gives a damn. But yeah, we can't just be canceling people for no reason. People, we need to cancel people and we need to keep them canceled, and it needs to be justifiable. All right. So if we all need to get on one page to make better decisions as to who is getting canceled, then we need to do so. Okay. I feel like us as a group of people, we need to make better decisions, but we need to ask better questions when people like John Oddie or, different people come out, saying crazy things about people, because people don't typically just come out and say something crazy about you unless you're doing something egregious. And clearly there were things going on with Diddy. I mean, he had got caught up with Shine, at the club that night with J-Lo. Biggie passed away. Then Tupac was shot before he got passed away at one of his studios, or close to one of the studios he worked in. Those people that passed away at the college event. I mean, it's just a lot of death around this man. I just don't think that is a coincidence. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. I think people need to start asking better questions, and we need to demand, a thoughtful, I guess, like, just period, due process. Like, maybe due process and no hashtags, maybe, it would have been nice if this documentary would have come out years before the trial. So at least it would come off as if people really cared, and less like it was somebody just trying to get some retribution and some get back because you slept with my baby's mother. I don't, and I'm not, maybe it's the Lighty guy, the Chris Lighty. Maybe that is what is affecting 50 Cent's better judgment when it comes to the Puffy situation. Or maybe they just hate each other, but that's their business. That's not for us to cancel or support, So I think it's a red flag when we start seeing these documentaries, because a lot of what we mentioned in the chat, and y'all were right on it, right when these documentaries start coming out, that's when people start going to jail. But people should go to jail, and then we should come out with a documentary, right? Because they went through the due process. We got to hear the thoughtful evidence. So we know that when we're canceling this person, it's indefinite, because we all have the proof. That's all I'm saying. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's episode of Smell the Roses. I do not have a funny tonight because I was on the Untouchables earlier today, and then I worked for the man earlier today. So this is my third clock out. So I'm about to clock out. I promise that on Wednesday we will rock out with some really funny videos, okay? We'll do a couple of serious videos on the topic, but I'll be sure that we review some egregiousness so that we can laugh and get ready for the holidays next week, okay? I hope that you guys are good to each other until next Wednesday. I'll be back at 9. All right. Cancel culture fatigue doesn't mean that we stop caring about each other. It means that we stop being manipulated by people like 50 Cent, Netflix, Puff Daddy when it comes to albums like the Love album or whatever album he's going to try to. It's probably going to be the Hate album by the time he gets out of prison. The Hate album, right? But here at Smell the Roses, we believe in accountability with integrity, truth without hysteria, and conversations that don't require a villain of the week. So although P. Diddy is the current villain today, on Wednesday, we won't have any villains, right? It won't be any unruly women to talk about, and it won't be any unruly men to talk about. I'm going to try to find some good videos on some unruly men. If y'all find any videos on unruly men, please drop them in the Discord so we can review them. on Wednesday for some funnies, okay? Like the stream, share it, drop a rose emoji in the chat if you're tired of outrage culture. I would love to see red roses in my comments. And tell me, are we canceling people or are we canceling our own critical thinking? That is what I want to leave you all with tonight. Okay? So pause, reflect, and smell the roses until Wednesday night at 9 p.m. I love you all. Good night.